A huge win in the Big 12, a huge win for two top 25 teams, giving it over to Baylor. Number 23 Baylor beats number 17 Oklahoma at home, 81-70. This was really all over after the first quarter, 21-5. Baylor outscored Oklahoma after quarter one, and it really just went downhill for Sooners after that. Baylor looked really good in this one, Steve. A lot better than that number 23 next to their name, if you will.
Yep.
I think that's going to go up when we see a new ranking come Monday. But this was a really good game for Baylor, and put a little question marks to me about if Oklahoma can really run with some of the top dogs in the country right now.
Yeah, I think Oklahoma is really underrated, but when you look at their roster and you watch them play, and this was really the first game I saw them play opening tip-off to the last buzzer. You can see why they're prone to inconsistency, I think, at times, where they can really come out and they have a great game. And they played well here. But in this game, in the first quarter, again, it was 21-5 you talked about, and I want to talk about how Baylor got it there in a second, but they were 1 for 16 in the first quarter. You can't come out and do that with the kind of talent that the Lady Sooners have. You cannot go 1 for 16 to start the game. Everybody's going to hit a dry spell in any game. Even the best teams are going to run into that. But you can't start 1 for 16 against a team that has someone like a Sarah Andrews, okay, on it, who, again, she had a career high 30 points. But what jumped out at me right off the bat, and I really had not paid as much attention to this young lady, and I'm certainly going to going forward. Bella Fauntleroy, all 8 of her points happened in that first quarter. I mean, she just jump-started the Lady Bears attack. And it's not that she disappeared the rest of the game, but I mean, every other player just kind of stepped in. But I mean, I really liked her tenacity. I really liked the way that she plays basketball. So I'm going to have to add her to my list of people to always go look at the box score for now. But yeah, I mean, Oklahoma had some nice runs. They had went on an 18-8 run going in to end the first half. But for me, once Baylor was up to that big lead, I mean, yeah, they kind of let them get close. I had a flashback to when I was younger and trying to run with the big boys, on the football field or basketball court, whatever it is. To keep me interested, they would kind of let me score up some points or let me kind of catch up to them. But really, I never was. I was never going to really catch them. But because they didn't want to embarrass me, the older kids, they just kind of let me get close. And that was sort of like how I came away from this game, that Baylor was like, well, yeah, okay, we're playing a good game. And okay, Oklahoma's pretty good. We're gonna maybe let them think. We're going to tease them, let them think that they're in this. But really, for me, past that first quarter, it was really Baylor's game all the way through.
Yeah, Oklahoma did not lead once in this game. Baylor got as high as 17 in this one. They wound up winning by 11. Oklahoma shot dreadful from the field. They're only 31%. Obviously, you talked about how they started the game. It just wasn't good. They had 19 turnovers. Now, granted, Baylor had 17 turnovers, and that's something that for somehow they still found a way to win. It makes you wonder that this game could have got a lot worse. Baylor still found a way to win by 11, even with 17 turnovers. This Baylor team is really good. And I'm starting to think that we have, I'm not even thinking this, I know we have one of the best fields that we are going to probably see ever in the women's bracket coming up. I don't know if we've ever going to see a field as deep as this. What's going to be really exciting is that this Saturday, 5 o'clock Eastern on ESPN Plus or Big 12 Network, we're going to get Baylor at home against Kansas, who's number 21. Ooh. So another ranked team. Baylor takes another team on the road that's ranked, and I think they can do it. I mean, I've really enjoyed what I've seen from Kansas so far this year. They've only got 1 loss, but I mean, honestly, that 1 loss was in triple overtime too. So they have not lost the game in regulation. They haven't lost the game in it takes them 7 quarters to lose, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing if Baylor can run with Kansas. I think they can. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that test on Saturday afternoon.
As am I. And I do. And the key word is run with them. I think it's going to be a high energy, fast paced game. And I have to admit, Kansas kind of surprised me. I know that they had some talent there, but I mean, they've really put it all together here in the early going. So, the Big 12 on the ladies' side is always a tough run through. But if Baylor beats Kansas, now I think you really have to start sitting back and say, well, wait a minute. Okay. Is this another case of where a Baylor team, in whatever sport it is, you pick the sport, they just never seem to get the due they deserve? And I'm sure I'm reading more into it than it's there, but it just seems that way. The football team, the men's basketball team, and now now the ladies side, they're not really getting the respect. Okay, they were ranked number 23, okay, but they earned that. I mean, they isn't like they just got it handed to them saying because on paper they're supposed to be good. They earned that ranking, so it's going to be a fun game. I wish it was a Sunday game. We've got so many great games on TV Sunday. You can't have every game happening on Sunday. But definitely, if you've got ESPN Plus, you want to tune into this one, or at least DVR it so you can go back to it, because this is going to be a terrific game.
Completely agree. Speaking of Sunday, Oklahoma has a fantastic game themselves. Sunday, 3 o'clock on ESPN2. They stay at home and they take on Ashley Jones and Iowa State, who's number 11 in the country. That game is going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to have you covered here, recapping that one. They are two really good games between these two teams after. We're getting another two top 25 matchups coming up because of this game, really. So I'm looking forward to that one. Oklahoma, can they bounce back? Iowa State's a tough team. So if they can bounce back against a team like the Cyclones, then all right, maybe I'll stop having my doubts about the Sooners. But man, Cyclones are tough. I can't say that they're going to win that game.
Well, the Anna Lanusa, she's a really good basketball player. She's going to play in the WNBA. I really do think that she is. So I think that's going to be another one of those star matchups. And that's what's so great about the women's field this year, is that every game you've got two true stars on almost every team. So at the very least, even if the team itself is struggling, you've got two players that you can just focus on, saying, boy, this woman is terrific. This gal really has that stroke, from beyond the arc. There's always something in every women's game now, because the talent is so distributed, partially due to the transfer portal, because there were actually more transfer portal changes on the women's side than there was on the men's side. So the transfer portal absolutely has changed the landscape for women's basketball. So for all those that are concerned about it, where it's free agency, it's never be the same, I think it's going to transform women's basketball. I really do. I mean, I know the top programs probably don't look at it that way, but I mean, I really think it's going to help a team like a Baylor. I mean, not that Baylor had a lot of people come in through the transfer portal, but I'm just picking that's a team that's kind of like really not looked very highly upon. Notre Dame's another team on the women's side. Almost their entire starting five is almost through the transfer portal. So it's going to be fun. So definitely, and I know I say this at least one women's clip every single night, but honestly, take the time to watch the games. Don't just have it on in the background. Watch the games. You're going to love what you see.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Baylor is 2-0 in the Big 12 right now. Kansas is 1-0 in the Big 10. Kansas hasn't lost at home yet. That triple overtime loss was on the road. So the winner of that game will be in the early lead for the Big 12. That should be a fantastic one. Just for the record as well, that was the first loss for Oklahoma at home this season. We talked about it off air before. Oklahoma doesn't usually lose at home. So maybe that's a thought for Iowa State as they head in to Oklahoma.
Absolutely. And I think that shines that light brighter on how big a win this was for Baylor.
Absolutely. Let us know your thoughts in the comment description below. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. And thanks for watching /U.